So, what if I told you there's a grape out there that's kind of living a double life? Over in France, it's known as the sophisticated, elegant Syrah. But then you travel halfway across the world to Australia and boom, it becomes the bold, adventurous Shiraz. We're talking two names, two completely different personalities, but they come from the exact same grape. Today, we're going to uncork the story of how one grape can be so dramatically different. It really makes you wonder, right? How can one single grape create two totally different experiences in the glass? Is this all just clever marketing? Or is there a really fascinating story about nature, nurture, and a little bit of travel at play here? Well, we are absolutely about to find out. Here's a fun way to think about it. Syrah is like the quiet intellectual sibling, with all these interesting layers, a bit of complexity, and this subtle, spicy wit. And then you have Shiraz, who is a loud, outgoing one, just bursting with fruity energy and always the life of the party. But here's the kicker. They share the exact same DNA.
All right, so to really get to the bottom of this grape's split personality, we're going on a little journey. First, we'll look at the grape itself. Then, we'll trace its roots all the way back to the steep vineyards of France. After that, we'll follow its path to the sun-drenched valleys of Australia. We'll put them head to head, uncover the secrets of both the land and the winemaking. And hey, by the end of this, you'll know exactly which bottle to reach for.
The key to this whole transformation is the grape's incredible ability to adapt. It's almost like a sensitive artist that just soaks up the character of its surroundings, the climate, the soil, even the air, and then expresses all of that in the final wine. And that, right there, is the secret to its two faces.
So our journey has to start in the grape's ancestral home, the Rhône Valley in France. This is where Syrah shows off its classic, old-world personality. We're talking about a wine of pure elegance, complexity, and, just a little touch of mystery.
The terroir of the northern Rhône. This is really where the magic starts. You've got this continental climate, really hot summers, cold winters, and these poor, rocky soils made of granite and schist. It's a tough place for grapes to grow. They have to struggle to survive on these steep, terraced vineyards. But that struggle, it translates into a wine with incredible structure, these amazing savory notes and complex aromas like black pepper, violet, and even a hint of smoked bacon. And that really sums up French Syrah, It's not a wine that hits you over the head with bold fruit. No, it's more like a delicate, beautiful dance of spice and elegance. It's just proof of the power of place and of the centuries of tradition that have shaped this iconic wine. Okay, now let's jump forward to the 1800s and travel halfway across the globe. Because when Syrah cuttings finally arrived in Australia, they weren't just transplanted, they were completely transformed. It got a new name, Shiraz, and with it came this bold, sun-drenched new personality. And wow, the contrast with the Rhône just couldn't be more stark. In Australia's Barossa Valley, you've got this hot, dry climate and these rich soils of clay and loam. It's a totally different world. The old vines here just get to bake in the sun, soaking up all that energy and producing grapes that are absolutely bursting with ripeness. The result is this powerful, fruit-forward wine with these decadent aromas of blackberry jam, juicy plum, and even a little hint of rich chocolate. So if Rhône Syrah is this elegant, sophisticated ballet, then Australian Shiraz is, it's a huge happy party. It's a wine that just celebrates its fruity side. It's bold, it's approachable, and it's completely, unapologetically rich. The two could hardly be more different.
All right, it's time for the main event. We're going to put Syrah and Shiraz head-to-head and break down the key differences once and for all. This is where we connect all the dots.
Okay, let's break this down, side by side. When you smell them, Syrah leans more savory and peppery, while Shiraz is all about that jammy fruit and chocolate. In your mouth, Syrah is typically medium to full-bodied, but Shiraz is almost always this big, full-bodied wine. That cooler French climate gives Syrah a higher, more vibrant acidity that keeps it feeling fresh. Shiraz, on the other hand, is usually softer. And finally, the tannins, that drying feeling in your mouth? In Syrah, they're firm and structured. In Shiraz, they're much softer, almost velvety. But wait, the story doesn't end with just the land. The human touch, the whole art and science of winemaking, plays a huge part in shaping the final wine. This is where tradition and technique really take center stage. So here, you see two totally different philosophies at work. In the Rhône, it's all about tradition. They often use the natural yeasts that are just floating around. They'll ferment with the whole grape bunches to get more spicy herbal notes, and they age the wine in these huge old oak barrels that don't add a lot of flavor so the terroir can really shine. But in Australia, winemakers often take a more modern scientific approach. They use specific yeasts to get consistent results, control the temperature to keep all those fruity aromas, and age their wines in smaller, new oak barrels, which adds those delicious notes of vanilla and sweet spice.
So you've got all this great info, but what does it mean for you when you're staring at a wine list or the aisle at the store? Now that you know the two faces of this grape, you're all set to choose the perfect one for any occasion. Let's get practical. All right, let's talk food, because this is where it gets really fun. These two styles are perfect for different meals. A Rhône Syrah, with all its savory, herbaceous notes and that bright acidity, it's an absolute dream with things like roasted lamb, duck, or a big, hearty stew. But for those bigger, bolder flavors, like a grilled steak, smoky barbecue ribs, or even a decadent chocolate dessert, the rich fruit and soft tannins of an Australian Shiraz are going to be your best friend. So, the big question is, who are you inviting to dinner tonight? The elegant, complex intellectual from the old world, or the bold, fun-loving life of the party from down under? The best part is, there's no wrong answer, just the perfect wine for your mood and for your meal. And that's our story. It's pretty amazing, right? We've seen how one single grape can tell two completely different stories, all thanks to the magic of the land and the art of the winemaker. It really makes you think, if this is just one grape story, what other incredible tales are just waiting out there to be discovered in the world of wine?